Back at it again for another episode of Birdie's Not BS. I got Cheyenne Woods with me as always. I feel like I make her look good, but I'm not. She makes me look good.
On a podcast?
Hey, it's fine. I have a face for TV. We just haven't got there yet.
Okay, got it.
Give me some time. Baby steps. Shy, have you been watching this Last Dance?
Yep, I've been tuned in every Sunday. Sit here right on my couch.
How can you not be? This thing is intoxicating.
Hours.
It's so intoxicating.
It is. And I just love it because, I mean, I was super young when all this was going on. I was born in 1990, so I don't remember the 93 Michael Jordan, even the 98 Michael Jordan. I know Michael Jordan for him being Michael Jordan.
Right.
But to see all the backstories and just everything that he went through behind the scenes has just been awesome.
I didn't know, I feel like I didn't know. Yes, I know he was a leader, but when you see how he led, it's like these aha moments for me. It's like, wow, he really was talking smack to his teammates. He was really pushing people. But if you look at the workouts and you look at when he was in the gym, he was the first one in the gym. He was the last one out of the gym. He was leading the team up and down the court in the runs. So it's one thing to talk smack. It's another thing to talk smack when you put in the work. Right. Michael
had said, I don't ever ask my teammates to do anything that I do not do.
Right.
And so as a leader, just that mindset, and even as an elite athlete in general, you see him on the basketball court. You saw him when he tried to take on baseball. And in all these episodes, you're seeing him play a lot of golf.
Golf, right? Is this surprising to you?
No, not at all. What's surprising to me is seeing them play in between championship games. I thought that was a little crazy.
You got a game tonight. You got 18 holes.
Yeah, you're on the golf course. But, I mean, it just goes to show what golf can do for athletes, for people, just to get your mind off something, and also the addiction of it. Right. I think it's so interesting.
I thought you were about to talk about his gambling addiction. Oh, wait.
I mean,
rumors.
Gambling on the golf course, too.
That's right.
I mean,
I got the same addiction when it comes to putting cash up on a course.
Yeah.
I can't play without putting something up. We got to put a little something on.
As long as I'm winning, I'm more than happy to gamble.
I feel like, too, what I enjoy as a Jordan shoe fanatic, I like being able to watch the progression of the shoe, right? Like, I'm in my closet trying to find my 4s and trying to find my 5s. When you look at Jordan, though, and you watch him play basketball and you watch him play golf shot, do you marvel at his commitment to both, or what do you take away from seeing Jordan the athlete and then Jordan the golfer throughout the Last Dance?
I mean, honestly, I see the same person both on the court and on the golf course, because that same person is putting in the work to be the best that he can be, whether he's got a golf club in his hand or a basketball. And I think that, again, is why he was so great in what he did. And no matter what he was playing or what environment he was in, he wanted to be the best. He wanted to be the best leader, the best golfer, the best baseball player. He wanted to take everybody's money on the airplane, playing cards, whether it was $1 or $1,000.
That's it, right? That's crazy, though. Like, he would play $1,000 games in the back and go up and play dollar games in the front because he wanted your money. Like, it wasn't about the sum of it. It was like, I want your cash.
It's that championship mindset of just, I'm going to beat you in whatever we do and at all costs. And so I see that just consistency within him as a man. And that, I think, is the most impressive thing to me.
I feel like when I watch Jordan prepare, he makes me want to work harder on the little things, right? Like, I feel like he was such a tactician when it came to the minute, the fundamentals. And I think that really triages well into golf. And for the people out there that want to get better at the game is take that Jordan approach. If you want to be a really good 3-point shooter, you got to shoot shots. If you want to be a really good short range putter, you got to go out there and put putts up. Well,
right.
Yeah, same thing.
No, 100%.
I'm inspired. I mean, he makes me want to go practice right now. One thing that I have to mention, and I'm glad we brought on our special guest for this week's episode, and Steve Malbon, because I'm intrigued by the role that fashion, celebrity, the athlete all play in the growth of the game, right? The ability to merge all these varying facets and put them together to make golf cool to that skateboard kid, to that band kid, or whatever kid is out there that's inspiring to play. I think that's very interesting. That's how you grow the game, with Jordan playing golf.
I was going to say, even in watching the documentary, this is growing the game of golf. It's not a documentary about golf. It's a Michael Jordan documentary following his career. But there is so much golf influence that someone watching it who has never watched golf, never interested in golf, is going to see Michael from 20 years ago playing golf in his 90s outfits and cigar in his mouth. And, of course, we all know Michael Jordan still plays golf to this day. From what I heard, he plays 36 holes every day.
Smokes 8 cigars every day.
Yeah. And documentaries like this, or even just seeing our favorite athletes in that environment, that golf environment, is what truly grows the game of golf. And like you said, with our guest coming on soon, he's also doing something very similar in fashion, social media, and just his influence of brand, reaching out to people who have never ever thought of watching or liking golf before.
Sorry to let people down, but we don't have Michael Jordan. But we got the one and only Stephen Malbon of Malbon Golf coming on to talk to us a little bit about what he's doing to grow the game. So, Stephen, you got to tell me a little bit about how you started Malbon Golf, because there had to be this niche that you saw that you could fill within the golf space. So talk to us a little bit about how you got everything rolling on your end.
It mainly started first with Instagram and me being obsessed with golf and not wanting to follow like 1,000 golf Instagrams on my personal Instagram, and wanting to be able to fiend out and just look at golf news and golf trends and fashion and the stuff that I like with golf. But it was very hard to find like stuff that was kind of like touching the soul of golf, or forward thinking, or fashion, or different art and different things that I liked about golf. It was very hard to find that on Instagram like 5 years ago. So I started a mood board with Malbon Golf to just post images and inspire creatively, graphics, etc., of what I felt was like kind of the heart and soul of golf. And from there, it eventually turned into a business, because we started to understand we had a following, and there were a lot of other people who thought like we did. And from there, it kind of has branched into a couple of different ways of being a business. We sell apparel, and we have a golf club, and we're doing the online golf tournaments and physical golf tournaments, etc.
Now, I've seen a lot of your stuff online. I've seen a lot of celebrities and athletes in and out of your store. I've never been in your store yet, but every time I'm in LA, I just happen to drive by, and I have to say it has a very distinct, trendy look, both from the outside and inside when I see photos. How conscious are you of creating that trendy image, especially within golf? It really makes you stand out. How conscious are you and your wife of really making that an important aspect of your brand?
I think just like style-wise, the store was designed more with like a Japanese boutique retail experience, and fashion and simplicity, and cement floors and white walls and exposed wood, and very minimalist but very stylish in a sense that it doesn't look like a lot of times the golf stores end up just having like sales, so much equipment and so much gear, and they have the way it is. It's kind of the opposite of that. It's a small boutique experience. So we purposely did that because younger people who shop are more comfortable in that environment than they are at like a big discount golf store, when it comes at least to fashion.
Yeah. So, but in your store, and I've had the pleasure of being in there, and I feel like you can't even really consider it a store. It's more of a meeting place or a gathering place. It's a hub for culture. Was that intentional, or was that just a byproduct of the people gravitating toward what you had put out there?
No, it was in Los Angeles. There's a lot more golfers in Brentwood and in Beverly Hills than there are in Fairfax. So Fairfax is a street that a lot of pop entertainment culture people either go shopping on or drive up and down on when they're going, like you said, Shaden, when you're driven by it multiple times, right? So it's kind of a billboard, and it's like, why is there a golf store in Fairfax next to all of these other kind of Melrose, Fairfaxy type of stores? So it's very deliberate putting it there, knowing that that's not where your normal golfer is, because we're not really that focused on the normal golfer.
Gotcha. Steve, you mentioned right when you answered Cheyenne's question, normal golfer. Your brand is not like the normal golfer for the normal golfer. When you started Malbon Golf, what did you see as the normal golfer, and who is the non-normal golfer?
I think 5 years ago, the normal golfer, I think that it's merged more now between the last 5 years of like the kind of new golfer, if you will, or the old golfer. I think it's a change of guards, and there's definitely a young, youthful, creative wave of people that are looking at golf as a really fun, creative thing that's great to do with different people. The normal golfer, I guess I should say, more like the old mindset of a golfer, which is
khakis, a collared shirt.
It's the PGA golf show, right? It's Orlando. So like if everyone in Orlando is the normal golfer, and it's mainly white dudes that are older with slacks and blazers, right?
100%. I know when I was growing up, golf was not at all trendy, cool. Nobody was really doing it.
Yeah, especially with your outfit, Cheyenne. We saw your outfits back in the late 90s and early 2000s.
I mean, it was rough in the 90s.
Exactly.
Even you see the guys out there, it was rough. But even in seeing athletes now in pop culture, people getting involved with the sport of golf. Before that, what was it that drew you to the game of golf?
I got a job when I was 12 at a golf course in Virginia Beach, and I wanted to get good so I could play with the older guys and members that I liked. They were like drinking beer and having a good time. So I figured the better I got, the more they would want me to come play with them. And I had played tennis prior and lacrosse, so it was a little bit of those two moves swing.
So you from Virginia Beach, Steve?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. I used to live in Chicks Beach. Crazy. Small world.
Oh, I love it. I love Chicks Beach.
I used to live right by Bubba's.
Some good times.
I used to live right by Bubba's. You know what I'm saying? Hot tuna nights, man. I know a little something about something.
I know what it is. Kamikazes.
That's it around the corner. But question though, Steve, I got to ask, it's current right now. Have you been watching The Last Dance? The Jordan documentary on ESPN.
Of course.
Now,
yeah, I like that dude. I've been trying to find like images of the homie that was his bookie.
Which
the
one?
Guy last night.
Oh, the golfer, right?
George Esquinas. I played some golf with George. He out there.
The golf Horsula.
Oh yeah, that dude.
I need images. I want to put him on to a shirt. The guy that like he was supposed to go meet the president, and they said he blew the president off because he was in a money match with homie at some golf course up in DC, and he didn't even go to the White House.
And that's what that's how he gets down, man. You know how it is. You gotta play that emergency 18.
Yeah, exactly.
Cheyenne knows because Cheyenne take my money a couple times. I want my $20 back, Shy.
I'm ready.
But I say this because one thing that I know, right? We all know Michael Jordan is a golfer, right? One thing I didn't know was the role that golf played in Michael Jordan's life. Also, too, the role that fashion played in Michael Jordan's life. When we talk about these exterior kind of golfers, right? He's a golfer, but he's a basketball player first, Steven. Like, how do you see fashion? How do you see fashion playing into how athletes and stars come into golf?
I mean, I think golf has a good platform for fashion because it's always been about getting dressed, and it's like okay to put on your best when you go play golf. So the fashion side's kind of like it's kind of like the sky's the limit, where you have people like Payne Stewart and those type of outfits where you can kind of go overboard. And you know, Payne Stewart wearing like the color scheme of the football teams every time he used to go on PGA tournaments. Like, I think that was super cool and like pre-New Era and pre-Fitteds, but it was the exact same thing. Like him showing up wearing St. Louis colors in St. Louis. It's like a local pride, very cool thing that was happening then. Since then, I don't know how much like fashion and golf, it's more kind of driven by what sells at the big golf chains. So if Dick's Sporting Goods can only sell, you know, pastel shirts, then they're going to sell pastel shirts. And like styling and PR is what makes giant superstars, right? And skills. So, you know, you have like Madonna and Prince, and you have all of these people like that. Like, their stylists were as important in them becoming huge global pop stars as anything else. Or like Dennis Rodman had a stylist that was like putting him in a dress when he would go to New York to do the Letterman show, and like overboard, over the top. But that's what makes American pop stars kind of pop stars. And I think we've done a really good job doing it with music and with sports. And then, but with Goff, it doesn't happen. The only superstar is Tiger, right? And like he has his own silhouette and uniforms, etc. But he's not concerned with making like fashion statements and, doing what Dennis Rodman was doing with dresses, etc. Right? So there's a huge room, even watching Dennis Rodman and what he was doing, like that brings excitement. So if there was a pro golfer who was doing his hair in cheetah and he was actually winning or like talking shit, like that is very, 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 very good for golf.
Yes.
Like Brooks Koepka wearing off-white golf shoes, like that's cool, but it's forced and it's like, it doesn't necessarily like, it doesn't innovate. It just takes like a fashion piece that people are wearing in streetwear and in lifestyle, and then they get the golfer to wear it, or like the Palace Adidas collaboration project they did. It's like the people watching the golf don't even know that logo is a skate brand from London. Like no one's connecting any of the dots. But like when Dennis Rodman went out and wore cheetah print hair, that was fashion, and it was. And the next thing you know, he's like dating Madonna.
Yeah,
and dating
I feel
Carmen
like
Electra.
There's just a level of authenticity with that, right? I mean, Dennis Rodman was being his authentic self and he had the space to do so. But I feel like we're kind of boxed in a little bit in golf with dress codes and tucking your shirt in and wear your hat forward.
I think they have like a policy that says if you embarrass the league, then they'll kick you off of the PGA.
Wow.
Damn.
Right?
That's news to me.
Like you can't embarrass them or something. So like if Jordan Spieth went out with a tattoo on his neck and cheetah hair, like that's going to embarrass the tour and they're going to kick him off the tour.
Right.
So there's a level of like fear that everyone has that drives them to like, like the kid AJ Kim. Remember Kim used to wear like the big belt buckles and stuff?
Anthony Kim.
Yeah, like that was like as cool as I've seen it go, where someone was like, fuck it, I'm wearing giant cowboy belts of my logo and like flossing and like trying to be different. But since him, I haven't really seen anyone really try to be different. I've seen them try to be different with the way they play, and it's become very focused on
everybody looks the same out there.
Not fashion. Not fashion. Like the last thing they're silhouettes, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Everyone has the same silhouette, the same just kind of theme of what they're wearing. Golf really lacks individuality. Yeah. And I think that's definitely what we are able to see, even in football or basketball, on and off the field or court. The athletes have individuality, and that's really what grows the fan base. It's what grows the sport. And in golf, you really haven't seen that. Like you said, like maybe Anthony Kim. I think Michelle Wie has had some standout outfits on the women's side.
Very much.
Yeah, John. Well, I like the point with John Daly though. John Daly with a cigarette and loudmouth pants. Yes. You know what I'm saying? You can't pull fat. That's my man.
But Michelle, but Michelle did like, Tekashi 6'9" rainbow colored French braids with golf tees all in them, and like that was it. Like that is like. Damn, like no one else has even thought to do such a thing since. Right?
You think women have a little more? You think women have a little more leeway with fashion in golf, Steven? I feel like, I know that their wardrobes are still limited, but I feel like they have a little bit more leeway to express, because the only choice I get is the color of my shirt and if I'm wearing a collar or a non-collared polo.
That's because you're wearing golf clothes, right? That's the thing. Like. That's why I started making golf clothes. I started making clothes inspired by golf, because those silhouettes are tough. Like if you go to Roger Dunn and buy any one of those outfits and put it on, you're going to look like the other guys.
Right.
I think one of the first pieces I ever really noticed that you did was the sweatshirt. And I remember looking at this, at the sweatshirt, thinking I was like, damn, that thing seems dense. But then I saw it just absolutely take off in the street. You had skaters wearing golf clothes. You had rappers wearing golf clothes. Talk a little bit about, your relationship with Schoolboy and how and what that means to you and what it means to golf. Because he'll go to the course with his grills in, and I've seen some of the looks that he gets. So how is that being alongside of for you, Steve?
He's the best. He's the funniest dude ever. Like he's the funniest person you ever meet. So he's a good time, and he's very aware of like what you know, like what the golf world is. And he's understanding more and more that like when we go play Bel Air Country Club or we go play Riviera Country Club and Los Angeles Country Club, like there's only one goal, and the goal is to be invited back.
Right.
Don't get kicked out.
So he understands that is the most important thing. So yeah, like do not do anything to not get invited back. So if like you want to wear your hat backwards, this isn't the time. Like we want to get invited back to LACC and play with the record executives. But
right.
if we misbehave, then it's not, we won't get invited back, right? But he's the best. But yeah, it's, you know, he's a Crip. He's a Crip, and he's from the streets, and he's the most opposite dude of LACC ever. Yet he goes in and he holds himself, and he mingles, has fun, he's laughing and fucking off. And next thing you know, there's like moms coming up to him saying like, my son's the biggest fan of yours. Can I get a selfie? And he's just like very sweet guy. You know, Q's very, very important to golf. He's very important to like growing the game of golf and what he's doing, and having new albums where he says he, you know, goes to the golf course to get a peace of mind. I mean, that's all really what's happening. He was super depressed. He was going to the studio, same energy, same 10 people around him. You know, smoke weed all day, go to the studio, smoke weed all day, go to the studio, have millions of dollars in your bank and be completely depressed. After he found golf, he wasn't depressed anymore. It was like, there goes that. Like, and then even him being like, you know, he's like, I don't have time to do bad things because I'm so focused on like getting back to the range in the morning and working on like my 50-yard flop shot.
I don't know why you would need that shot, but yes, you got to work on that too.
Things.
Yeah.
So I think that's such an interesting point that, you know, folks like you and Q are important to the game. I think you guys are integral to the game. You guys make golf cool. What is it that you have to do today to make sure that a kid from South Central, Stephen, can go to LACC and play and know how to act?
I think you have to do things where you do caddy programs and you get young kids into certain clubs and you make the members like there's so many clubs, like even like out here, like what do you call it? Mountain Gate, right? Mm-hmm. Mountain Gate. They have 27 holes. It's crowded as shit. They have no caddies because the members are too cheap to pay for the caddies, right? So I think you can raise money and you can make them take caddies and make them rub shoulders with kids and make the kids go through serious classes where they learn how to hit a 7-iron. They learn how to hit balls. They learn how to caddy. They learn how to mingle. They learn how to runners. They learn what to say, what not to say, how to hold themselves, mannerism. And then from there, they're opening themselves up and getting into the golf world. So from there, you know, a kid could caddy in South Carolina through college, right? It's just invest in golf. The type of thing it is. It's like if you take two kids that aren't very in a promising situation, and one works at like a fast food spot and one works at as a caddy, 10 years from now they'll be in a lot of different places over just off one summer's exercises and learning.
No question.
You know, and learning. So I think caddy programs are like force rich, privileged people to use caddies and mingle with people that aren't like them and try to get comfortable with them and help each other out a little. And once you're in golf, it kind of equalizes things. Like, you know, if you're really good at golf, someone can look at you and judge you and think X, Y, Z. And then as soon as you like hit a 4-iron over a lake 3 foot, it's like they're your best friend all of a sudden, right?
I got
it's
more
like,
friends.
Did you see that shot? Like, motherfucker,
like,
I saw it.
That shit was amazing.
Yes. Now, that's what I love about golf. Like you said, it is truly an equalizer. I see it all the time in pro-ams, you know, whether it's a celebrity or an executive, you're seeing people come together from all different backgrounds and have this love for the game. And you don't see each other for who you are and what you do, but just truly playing the game of golf. And like you said, with the caddy program, you are able to then network and build those relationships with people you normally would not ever interact with. I mean, I've had it in my own life and I'm a professional golfer. Yeah. And so you just never know who you're going to meet. And it definitely is an equalizer. I think it's one of the only sports that can truly do that.
Yeah. I feel like some of the Jordan's, you know, fame also came because he played golf, because he was able to have those conversations with folks that controlled supply and demand for the shoe and the execs at Hanes and the execs at Nike and all the other, I'm sure he had a Range Rover deal. So, talking to the Land Rover execs and those types of things. And, that's one thing I think people always talk about golf as the path, business is done on the golf course. I disagree with that statement wholeheartedly. People decide if you're worthy to do business with via the time they have with you on the golf course.
Yeah.
Steve, can you agree with that or disagree? I feel like you have instances where golf tells you somebody's character.
Instantly. And I mean, even like how you live your life, whether it be in the other sports you do or in the way you do business, I think it reflects all of it. And, business wise, it's like, like if you're going to partner with someone in a business, it would be really good to have them as a partner in like a member guest tournament first. So see how they deal
with that pressure on.
Yeah. Well, you got to see you got to see all of it, and you're going to see it. Like when they get down and they have double, it's like, no, I'm not doing business with this guy. You got to snap out of it.
Well, I've taken people to the golf course and seen them throwing clubs and cussing. And I love this line. It's, I never do this on the course, right? That guy that says, I never do this. And those are the folks that I don't want to play golf with. I don't want to bring you back. I don't want to enjoy.
Let alone do business with them.
Right.
Right. Like, I don't want to golf with you. Definitely I don't want to do business with you.
No, thank you.
And it's like, I'm so scared of playing with strangers at golf courses and country clubs, but it's like a stranger will hit me up and say like, hey, I'm a member of Lakeside. Do you want to go? And Lakeside's tour, right? It's very good. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to play. But then when I'm pulling off, I'm just like, God, I hope I like this person. God, I hope I hope I like him. And then it's like, you walk right up to the putting green. It's like, either it's like, yes, or it's like oh, yeah. Fuck.
It's going to be a long
It's just a shitty fucking 5 hours. Here we go. Yeah, long day. Then it's just like, come on, buddy. Like, no one cares how you play but you. Just enjoy Lakeside. Like, come on. You're killing my high by...
So who have been some of your favorite people to play golf with, whether it be a celebrity or another professional golfer or just someone that you've worked with?
My son, Remington, golfing with him and playing matches with me and him. He's 8. My dad and my son for sure. And then I love playing with Q. He's fun. John Buscemi's fun to play with. My friend Jeff Nemmer. Tour guys, I love Tony Finau. Probably rather play with him than anyone. Tony's the guy that's like first hole at Riviera. I played the Pro-Am with them, and he so they had hybrid in, and he topped his hybrid. It went through the ditch and rolled 40 yards down the fairway or something, just like a perfect top. And he looks over at his caddy and his coach and me, and he goes, "What? At least it went straight."
that speaks to his character. Wasn't nothing on the line. I gotta ask. I always see when you post pictures, you use the Invest in Golf tag. What does that mean to you, or is it just a hashtag?
In the 1950s, the Masters and Augusta National, 50s, 60s, I don't know what year it was, they had a ticket, and the ticket was to get onto the grounds. And on the back of the ticket, it had a quote, and it said, "Invest in golf. It does great things for you and your entire family through acquaintanceships and, learning the qualities of life," or something. And it was like, when I read it, I was like, wow, that was where it originally came from, Invest in Golf. And it just means, like we were saying earlier, the kids on a caddy program, invest in golf, and you can level the playing field, and you can get yourself around some really good people to rub shoulders with, and you can change what may not be the best situation. And I kind of realized that there's the real world and the golf world, and I don't really like the real world as much as I like the golf world. So Invest in Golf is not only for me, but for my entire family, to put us in a different world.
You got to elaborate on that for me. The difference between the real world and the golf world. What is it in golf that you feel you don't see in the real world?
The golf world is like eating frozen grapes at Hillcrest and looking at botanical gardens and walking around with caddies and eating fucking ahi sliders on every 4 holes and drinking tequila in the morning while people are in traffic. The golf world is you know the situations. Like when I met you at Bighorn, right? Like that's the golf world. Drinking tequila with George Lopez and playing golf, and I'm with Eddie Van Halen and George Lopez, and I meet you. Like,
that's a good point.
That's not normal. That's not the real world. Like Eddie Van Halen and like smoking weed the whole time.
See, I was a Beat the Pro, so I couldn't partake. That was on y'all. But I will say it wasn't a tea bag. They had it in a tea bag.
But they were giving it away. Like Snoop had a
totally different.
Snoop was giving away weed on the fucking 5th hole or something. It's like that's the golf world. Like, is this even happening?
I don't know if you can hang with that crowd. You know, you got drug tests. You got to worry about.
I might not be able to play my season after that event. Yeah.
Right, you might catch a contact.
Stay 6 feet away. 6 feet away.
That's what I love though about golf too. It's like anything goes. Like you go to the course, 7 a.m., Bloody Marys, mimosas, like whatever. They're handing out weed on the 5th hole. It's so different.
That's the golf world. That's not the real world. You know, I went golfing here. I took someone to Sandpiper out in Santa Barbara, and the guy had only played once or twice. We go at like 7 a.m, and like 8 dudes walk up and order double tequila shots at like 7:30 a.m, you know, and like this is normal out here.
I was gonna say, I don't know about you guys. I can't play golf when I'm tipsy.
That's because you care. That's because you care. Stop playing for a living. Watch what happens.
That's true. All right, give me a few.
Steven, let me ask you a quick question, because I'm interested and I'm intrigued by it. When we talk about the difference between the real world and the golf world, I'm sure there are moments when they collide. They collide for me all the time as a black guy in golf. Now, you are a white dude, but cooler than most. My question is, when you come to the golf course and you do have weed, you've got, your swag, you've got your attire, you've got schoolboy Q. How are you received by, quote, the real world in golf? Because there's a barrier that you have to go through to get to the golf world.
There's people who care, and there's younger people that are taking over the lead, right? They're taking the wheel, and there's the older guys are kind of getting in the back seat and saying like, I'll be the chairman of Golf Digest, but we have to let this young guy who thinks differently run Golf Digest into the future, or we'll run it into the ground. So I think that's very helpful that they are kind of changing of the guards of the like big corporate golf situations. And a lot of the brands and like our mission statement is to inspire young people to participate in golf. There's a lot of people with deep pockets who appreciate that statement of inspiring young people to participate in golf. So that's like either watch it, play a video game, buy golf clothes, go to a golf tournament. There's a lot of ways that you can participate in golf. And I think that the other day I went to LACC and I walked up, and 4 of the guys from the pro shop started walking at me. The head pro, the assistant, the director of golf.
Who'd you piss off?
And I saw walking at me and I thought like, what the fuck did I do? What did I do? Like the music was too loud when I went into the parking lot, or like, who'd I piss off? Like, what do they want? And they came up and they introduced themselves and they said who they are, and they said they're big fans and that they saw me and my son interview Rory McIlroy and they love what we're doing for golf, and
that's amazing.
I can come and play anytime I want, and they want to sell our stuff in their pro shop. Yeah. And it's like, I told them, I said, I thought y'all were about to throw me the fuck out of here. I thought you were going to throw me the fuck out of here, and then they start like laughing. So it's obvious that I'm not your traditional, golfer in a square golfer of like what your traditional white golfer guy does or whatever. And it's like, there's a lot of other people though there that are like members at LACC that are younger and get it. And it's like, they like Wu-Tang too.
Right. All I know is my one time at LACC, I felt like I had to have better posture when I walked through that gate. Like I took a Uber Black to LACC. I was like,
they're walking, talking what you came in and
right.
But I love that about golf nowadays. I do feel like it genuinely is trying to embrace the new age golfer. And I think I've seen that in like the last 5 years or so, of just the fashion, the people who are playing golf, even the environment at country clubs where you can play your music. You can show up and I don't know. I think you can still show up in Jordans and have your little bit of style and flair, but you have to find that balance still. But I do see a move for trying to embrace a little bit more of the new age golfer.
Do you feel like you're leading that movement, Steve? Do you feel like that's on you a little bit?
No, I think there's a bunch of people that are doing it. I think that, My friend owns Hype Beast. He loves golf. He's addicted to golf. So like he's important, right? Schoolboy Q is important. The skateboarders that I'm cool with are very important. If a skateboarder has 1 million followers and he's posting golf, that's more important than Golf Digest or more important than what I'm doing.
Yeah. That's my attitude too. Yeah, absolutely. Golfers are going to see Golf Digest.
They're already golfing, so they can't help grow the game. Golf Digest can't help to grow the game as much as Hype Beast can, and Patrick Reed can't grow the game as much as Schoolboy Q can, right?
Absolutely not. I agree. I just feel like we've got to be heading somewhere because I'm seeing way cooler attire. Where do you see the culture of golf heading from your vantage point?
I think it's like skiing and snowboarding. I think it's like, so skiing, like back in the day, like when snowboarding started, I think that everyone was very resistant, right? And they were like, we don't want snowboarders. It's not proper. It's not this. It's similar to people saying like, we don't want people wearing their hat backwards, or we don't want people who have a beard, or we don't want girls, or we don't want, people with tattoos, right? Like there's 1 million things that they're going to say they don't want, the same way that this ski resorts fought really, really hard to not let snowboarders come, because the snowboarders were coming from the inner city. The snowboarders were coming with skateboard influence and hip hop, and they were wearing baggy pants, and they were playing music, and they were doing things a lot differently than the old school skiers were at those resorts. And then at some point it turned where every single ski resort in the world is a ski/snowboard resort. So there's no more only ski resorts. They're all ski and snow. And I think with the like European fashion houses, that there's a similar thing that's happening where like 10 years ago, they only wanted like aristocrats and rich French people in the front row of a Louis Vuitton fashion show. That's all they wanted. And now they don't even want those people to come at all. They want like little Uzi Vert in the front row and Rihanna. You can only fight it so long until all of a sudden the old courses that say like, I don't want younger people. I don't want, multicultural people. I don't want people with tattoos. I don't want people with beards. I don't want girls golfing. I want it to just only be those guys from Orlando. At some point, those dudes have to fucking get out of the way. Right? Like at some point, like it's not going to work. Dude. You guys got to just chill.
So what's coming up for you? What's next for your brand, for you? I know it's a weird time right now, but event-wise, brand-wise, what do you see coming up for you guys?
We're doing a thing called the Malbon Golf Club. So we have a bunch of members in LA, and we do golf tournaments. And the tournaments is very competitive golf. You have to have a handicap, USGA, etc. But now, so golf tournaments aren't going to be happening where you can't have big gatherings for golf. Through this quarantine, the thing I miss most is the action. I miss like, an 8-foot putt to either feel like the best person in the world or like a complete train wreck, just loser. And I don't get that feeling without golf. But I've realized like, I don't necessarily even enjoy like, getting up at 5:30 in the morning, driving all the way to the golf course and hitting balls and warming up and this and that and grinding, playing 18 holes and this, that, and the other. I really only miss the like 7 shots of the round that like get my adrenaline going and fill my endorphins with like good things. And so what I'm going to do for that is we're going to start doing weekly putting tournaments where it's bracketed putting tournaments. So I play against you on Monday, Cheyenne plays against so-and-so on Monday, and then the winner of our 2 rounds plays on Tuesday, and it keeps going all the way down to Sunday. So that will be a fun way where it's all done through video and through Zoom or Twitch or Instagram Live or even Facebook, but you upload your video to the golf club in order to say who won, who gets to go to the next round, etc. But it's like, that's
round 1, me versus Shy. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. You guys are in for
we
sure.
In there.
You're in for sure. But it's like over the quarantine, like that's what I realized I missed the most was like that pressure, that like, when you have a 9-foot putt and everyone's watching and it's like you're reading the putt, you have a feeling in your body, and the feeling is I'm either gonna like be Kobe or I'm gonna be Barkley. And it's just about to happen. Like, that's it. You're getting ready to find out who you are today. And when you make it, the adrenaline you get and the thrill and the fun, and it's just like, you know, you're floating, you're high for 2-3 days, just floating.
We in there. Well, Steve, we love it. We love you. We love what you stand for. We got your back as you look to grow the game. We're going to grow it with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the pod. Come on, tell us a little bit about you and what you got going on. Any parting words for us and the folks out there listening to our podcast? Where do they find you?
I love you guys too. Malbongolf.com. And yeah.
Sweet.
See you on the greens, everybody. I can't wait to play. Now I can't wait.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Birdies Not BS. We're on Facebook, Twitter. We're on the gram. Doug,
and at birdiesnotbs.com. Hit us up. Give us those ratings, and we'll holler at y'all next week.